A group of white women in Tennessee set out to prove that a shopping mall in Memphis engages in racial profiling this past weekend. They were prompted by a video showing young black males being escorted out of the mall days earlier, with one of them being placed in handcuffs. The reason that was provided was because they wore hoodies, and this mall obviously has some type of policy against hoodies or against people concealing their faces, their identity. So the man that took the video of the young black males being let out, he stated that at no time did he see the young black males wearing the hoodies on the top of their heads. But nonetheless, they were escorted out. So going back to the group of white women, they decided to go to this particular mall, which is called the Wolf Chase Galleria, wearing hoodies. So this is them in all their glory, wearing hoodies to the mall. So one of the women, Sherry Ennis, she told a local Fox station, "It just struck a chord on us that we could do that. We could walk through here, we could take pictures, we could wear whatever we wanted." Another one of the women, whose name is Shannon Arthur, she posted on Facebook, "Sometimes our hoods were up, sometimes our hoods were down. One guard said it was because, if a security guard spotted us with our hoods up, they very politely asked us to take them down. One guard said it was because they needed to be able to identify everybody's faces. So we said, sure, took them down, walked on, put the hoods back up a bit later, repeat, no threats, point made." So
they didn't realize they were being played. That was the funny part. I'm like, well,
that is funny.
I'm like, wait a second, y'all don't sense, like, your spidey senses don't go off? You got 4 women. Like, how often does that happen, dog? Like, you have 4 women who look like they're in their 30s, wearing hoodies, and like putting them up,
Yeah.
and then you tell them to put them down, and they put them up again. Yeah. You know you're on candid camera.
Yeah. And I think they said that they walked probably about a mile's distance through the mall. So
they were
back
just
and forth
back,
a few times.
Again, back and forth, not going anywhere, not shopping.
Just
like,
trying to make a point.
Just trying to make a point. Like,
so, again, Shannon Arthur, she continued on Facebook. She said, "I respect law enforcement and mall cops, but there's no question that some members of our community are constantly harassed and traumatized, where those with less melanin are given a pass. We must do better." So here's where I say, this is how you use your white privilege correctly. This is how you do it. Now, I've stated before, we've talked about white privilege a few times, maybe a handful of times. It's not something that I ever really think about. I don't go day to day in my life, and the words are not even in my head. It's not a day-to-day thing. It's not a week-to-week thing. It's not a month-to-month. It's just nothing. It's just something that I don't ever really consider. I mean, it's not something that I think about. Now, does white privilege exist? Yes, and I hate that it exists. I have a problem with white privilege existing. Now, do I have a problem with white people that benefit from white privilege? No, like, because that's just a symptom of our society that you have white privilege. Now, I don't have a problem with white people because it's just here. It's like I'm not gonna have a problem with the individual because of the state of affairs in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. Now, if that particular white person denies that they have white privilege, well, that's when I get a little annoyed, because I know that it exists. I know that no matter who that white person is, in some way, you're not going to experience the same type of things that people with more pigmentation, more melanin in their skin have to experience.
And my thing is, like, if it doesn't exist, how come there are so many stories and so many instances where somebody tried to use it to get out of something?
Yeah.
Like that chick that got pulled over for drunk driving. What did she tell that officer?
What'd she say?
I'm white. I'm a white stallion or something. I'm a white girl and I'm pretty. I'm a white girl.
Thoroughbred or something.
I'm a white thoroughbred. And I'm innocent. Basically, I'm a girl next door.
Right.
Now, again, this is somebody who was like, I don't even think she was at drinking age. So she was drinking at age. She was like 19, 20, something like that. So where did a 20-year-old get that? Does a 20-year-old come up like with that kind of idea all by herself, or is that something that's nurtured in a society? She would not try to use it if it did not exist.
True. So that's why I applaud these white women for doing something that goes beyond just proving a point. Because again, their story has been shared thousands of times. It's something that is educational for this nation as a whole. Now, what impact will it have? You know, we have no idea. But I like that they took on this problem that they saw in their community and they decided to raise awareness to it.
What do you think?
We're white and we can do whatever we want to in this mall. We can do the same things that these black males did, these young black males did, but we're not going to be led away in cuffs. We're not going to be even, we're just going to be told to stop doing it. But then we continue doing it and nothing.
What do you think about the rule of the mall? The rules that did not specify what you can and cannot wear. It's just kind of vague. It says
it wasn't a printed rule.
It wasn't a printed rule. It's just things that do not conceal your identity.
Right.
But I think like this does kind of hit home for us because we experienced this when we used to go out back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We used to try to go to clubs, and we just recently found out months ago that some of these same rules are still in place at these clubs that are in our city. Where they have these decade later. Yeah. But like honestly, you know, they're not dumb. The people who make the rules for the mall, they're not dumb. They do it for a reason. I think the ambiguity is intentional. The ambiguity is definitely intentional so that you do have grounds to harass or approach certain people. You know what I'm saying? That's why the rule's there. And the boys that did get escorted out and arrested because of their hoods, witnesses say their hoods weren't even up.
Yeah, exactly.
Witnesses actually said that security began following them as soon as they walked through the door and their hoods weren't up. So they were
what made them follow them?
They were already getting kicked out the minute they walked in that mall.
So the person that took that video, like I said, the one that was taking the video of them being accosted by the security guards, he said that, no, he never saw their hoods up on their head. In this case, though, these white women took it a step further. They actually put it on their heads, walked around. Security might have said, hey, you know, you need to take that down, and they obliged. But were they let out?
You know,
was anybody placed in handcuffs?
What I saw was that the young black male that was getting like approached by the cops. At that moment, his hood was down.
His hood was down.
His hood was down.
Yeah. Like I said, that goes into the narrative that was provided by witnesses and the person that was videotaping, saying that they never put their hoods on.
Here's the thing, like when you're at school, right, and there's a dress code, it's not vague. It's not vague. It's very specific. Yeah. They get way specific. Like if your hand, if you put your hands to the side and your skirt is 3 inches above your fingertips, blah blah blah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, your hair can't be below this. Or
hair
dyeing rules. There's like they're very specific. So I'm just like kind of confused as to why, if the mall wants people to kind of comply, like why weren't they specific about specific things? And
what if I'm visiting the city? What if I'm visiting the city? It was raining that day. I brought a hoodie.
Or it was cold that day.
Or it was cold. Yeah, exactly. Like, why wouldn't you specify what the rule is if you want somebody and have it plastered right as soon as you enter every single entrance?
Because it's meant to be ambiguous. That's the intent. It's meant to be ambiguous so they have the grounds to kind of go after certain people.
And implement it unfairly.
Because, again, we experienced this in the city we live when we tried to go out, where we were denied entry into a club even when we complied with the rules. And then we saw white people walking out of the club with that same attire on.
Looking sloppy. Looking sloppy, man.
No, you sound bitter when you said that.
You know, we were bitter at the time. I still feel, man.
Yeah, I still feel some kind of way about that, because it's just like some of the stuff. I remember it was one of my favorite shirts, man. It was like a polo shirt. And polo is a sport. And they have these, you know, button-ups, like basically casual shirts. It's like a half button-up. I was wearing it. It's like in between, it's like weird. It's like in between dressy and casual.
Yeah.
And it had the number 3, and it had the polo dude. It had a number 3 stitched on.
I remember that.
Just the number 3.
I remember that.
They wouldn't let me in the club because they said it was athletic wear.
Yep. Even though it was like a polo shirt.
I was like, having a number on it doesn't make it athletic wear. But that's too logical.
See, some people don't see. Again, this goes to white privilege because some people won't understand like what we actually go through. Again, it's not. This isn't about being accosted by the cops or something like that. It's not to that degree. Although, yeah, but not on this front. I'm not talking about that right now. But a lot of times when we used to go to the club, it'd be late, it'd be midnight. You had tension built up in you because you know how it could possibly go at the front door. So you were already preparing yourself, and you had to be, your back was straight. You were trying to, stand really proper, not be too loud or anything like that. Just be very, very, very calm and just walk. Like almost you have to be professional to be allowed to get up into the club, even though what I'm wearing is no different than what any other white person is wearing.
Even though it ain't even that type of club. Because
not even that.
There's clubs that want
upscale clubs.
There's that want to maintain a certain like class level.
Yeah.
But
we ain't talking about.
We ain't talking about those clubs because I've actually been to those clubs. They'll just have like no t-shirts and no sneakers. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. And most of the clubs that have that policy, I don't see them waffling on it. No. I don't see them treating certain people with favoritism. The only time they treat people with favoritism is if they're a VIP. Ain't got nothing to do with that. Exactly. You pay more. Somebody in the club. I don't care. If I knew somebody in the damn club, you best believe I'm getting in regardless of what I'm wearing. So I can't hate on that. If you know somebody, you know the bouncer, you know the owner, you can get in with however you wear it, whatever you want to wear. But for the most part, those clubs that just want to maintain a certain like ambiance, a certain atmosphere, is more of like an upscale club. Specifically clubs for people over 30. They usually have that policy. Right. And I've been to those clubs, and I don't remember the last time I saw a club like that treat people differently. The only time I saw that was with clubs that were for younger people. And it's not even upscale shit. I'm like, there's people with flip-flops in your damn club.
And see, it really does depend on the area that you live in, too, the area where the club is, just the area that you are in. In South Carolina here, of course, this is a very southern state, a very, country state, conservative state. So in our area, bullshit like that tended to happen. When we went to Miami, did we experience any of that kind of nonsense?
Never,
Absolutely not. Never was a concern, not in one single establishment.
Yo. This rule right here is a doozy. This will blow them away right here. Remember the hat rule? See, I don't wear hats, so I know this kind of this is his neck of the woods right here. This is his area, so it didn't affect me because I wasn't a hat wearer. This is a professional hat wearer right here. This mug had a hat for every outfit, dog. This mug had a hat for every outfit, so this mug was about his hats.
Yeah, man.
They had a policy at some of these clubs where the brim couldn't be straight. You couldn't get in with a straight brim. The brim had to be bent like this. I'm like, damn, does it have to have a fish hook too? Does it have to have a mesh part too? You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, yo, how you trying to police brims? Like what?
The brim police.
Are you serious?
The brim police, dog.
And it, like I said, arbitrary rules, and it's just so ridiculous. So, like I said, that's on the small scale. Well, I mean, it's still annoying, but still, it's on the small scale of white privilege and what people of color have to deal with. But thinking about this case here in Tennessee, and these black people, young black males are being let out just simply for being there with a hood. It's asinine, man. It's disgusting. And like I said, I'm glad that these white women use their white privilege to actually prove that point. So I'm hoping this is shared even far, even wider than it already has been. So maybe more people can actually take a look at it and be like, well,
it just makes me go out and just want to. It just kind of makes me want to go get myself a few hoodies, man.
Exactly.
It's like I almost feel like I got to embrace hoodies. I got to, you know what I'm saying? I got to diversify my wardrobe with some more hoodies, man.
And go to Memphis.
Because I only really got two. And one probably will get me stopped because it's an HBCU hoodie.
Yeah. We should organize an event going to Memphis to this particular mall. Nothing but hoodies. Nothing but hoodies. Go ahead, stop us all.
Stop us all.
Stop us all, man.
Stop us all. Stop all of us.